Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. Now for today's video, I want to talk about Jurassic Park 3. In the past, I've done a short video that goes over the troubled production of the film, where I basically address the script that was thrown out 5 weeks before filming, and how different a lot of the stuff is in the final movie when compared to what appears to be the final version of the screenplay. Since I've gone over all of the drama before in a previous video, I don't really want to talk about any chaos that was caused by the script being canned 5 weeks out. That being said, what I really want to talk about are some of the mysteries that surrounded the film during its production. Because believe it or not, there is quite a lot of creative ideas that were happening behind the scenes for the third movie that not too many people really know about. Not all of this stuff is 100% fleshed out and documented on the internet just yet, and what we do know comes in the form of mysterious concept art, script descriptions, and people who are working with the movie during its time in production. There's a lot of really incredible ideas that almost made their way into the third movie, and I wanted to dedicate a video to this wild stuff that never got to see the light of day. So back during the Lost World Jurassic Park's production, Steven Spielberg started doing interviews about the future of the franchise, and during this time, he stated that if Lost World was successful enough, there would definitely be a sequel, but he would only come back as an executive producer and not personally direct it. After the movie came out and made a massive amount of money, that sequel was greenlit. However, harsh criticism directed at the second film by fans of the first movie and second novel would lead to some interesting things happening behind the scenes. In 1998, Steven Spielberg came out to publicly say that Michael Crichton, author of both Jurassic Park books, would be returning as screenwriter on Jurassic Park 3, which would soon enter production. However, for reasons that have never been explicitly elaborated on, Michael Crichton would soon leave the project, and new writers would be brought in to work on the film, with Spielberg's initial story idea being Grant going to live on Sorna to study the dinosaurs by himself, although this didn't stick around for too long. And it's here where things get really interesting because the writing process for Jurassic Park 3 involved a number of really fascinating ideas. Some of them are actually available to find on DVD copies of the third film inside of the posters section of the special features. If you dig through this stuff, you'll find an assortment of different concept posters that were being designed during the movie's production. And a lot of the early ideas happen to be listed under a title that was calling itself Jurassic Park 3: Extinction. And the movie's tagline back then was going to be Survival of the Fittest. This is the first mysterious story that I really want to discuss. I've been hearing rumors and getting interesting bits of information about the Extinction script for a long while now. And after talking with Chris Pugh from Jurassic Outpost about the story ideas, he reached out to Jack De La Mare, whose obsession with JP3's production has helped him pick up a lot of interesting story info. Apparently, the info that I was hearing was correct. And the JP3 Extinction story at one point in time would have featured something that Jack himself says was pretty legit. That story would have involved something from Crichton's Lost World novel, the deadly disease known as DX. This disease is responsible for killing off all of the dinosaurs on Isla Sorna, which would be an event that was alluded to in Fallen Kingdom many years later, although through very different means. From what I can gather, this disease would be discovered by researchers on the island in the third movie, and after finding out about how deadly it could be to the dinosaurs, these people would soon learn that the disease could actually be transferred to humans, which would help explain the fetus that we see in the Extinction logos. Now, in my personal opinion, that is a very Jurassic Park sounding story, and in fact, that screenplay is something that I want to get my hands on ASAP. Unfortunately for me, I still haven't found it out there in the wild just yet. Now, other concept posters that were drawn up during this time of production featured the JP logo in the form of an egg, along with a few other riffs on the human death involvement for that film's plot. I'm not too certain whether or not this screenplay would have been the same one that Joe Johnston has brought up in the past, which was another version of JP3 that involved two planes flying over the ocean and one of them crashing on the island. Either way, I still find this mysterious stuff super interesting. Now, after this screenplay was abandoned, there was of course the version that was tossed 5 weeks before filming. This particular screenplay was more than likely Jurassic Park Breakout, which was the story of investigations being carried out on the mainland after an elusive set of dinosaurs had gotten off of the island and started killing people in Costa Rica. While all of that was happening, another team of people would have been on Site B trying to look for clues as to what was going on. From what I've been able to find out, this was the original intended version of JP3 that they cast casted all of the actors for and designed the movie around. This version was going to include the quilled raptors, the Spinosaurus, the aviary, and a lot of the other stuff that made it into the final film. But all of that was just going to be one side of the full story. We still would have gotten the pteranodons killing people on the mainland plot, with a mystery/suspense story running alongside the Site B stuff. But even way before any of that stuff went down, there was still a ton of other things that were being designed and conceptualized for Jurassic Park 3 that we would unfortunately never get to see. A different red Velociraptor design ended up not being filmed, and a moment where Alan Grant finds a motorcycle to escape from a pack of Velociraptors also got cut from the script. Many of you probably already know that the Spinosaurus was originally going to be a baryonyx, but you might not know about the moment in the embryonics administration where Grant and the others were supposed to come across a large tank of mosasaurs. How they were still being kept alive, I have absolutely no idea. But maybe this cloning stuff would have been fleshed out further with the other line of dialogue about the Spinosaurus not being on InGen's list. Now, another big change that happened during production was actually making the island that's featured in the movie Isla Sorna instead of something called Site C. Now, Site C could very well have been a brand new island that would have been discovered from the company's past, or it may have just been the site from the first Jurassic Park, Isla Nublar. So to put everything into perspective, you originally had Michael Crichton and Steven Spielberg working on the movie directly after The Lost World. Steven's first idea would have been for Grant to have been living on the island and researching the dinosaurs out of his own free will. Later, a script was written for something called Jurassic Park 3: Extinction, which would have involved the DX disease killing off Site B and spreading to humans. After that, a script was put together called Jurassic Park 3: Breakout, which involved the mysterious dinosaur attacks on the mainland. And after that got thrown away, the deadline for JP3's release meant that the filmmakers had to think on their feet, and so they continued making the third movie, despite not having a concrete structure to move forward with. The most complete version of the script that we currently have available is easily found with a quick Google search, and even this version has a lot of differences. It depicts a final battle where Alan Grant uses the Velociraptor resonating chamber to call a pack of raptors to help attack the Spinosaurus while it was trying to kill the others in the boat. And what resulted would have been these smaller pack hunters climbing on top of the apex predator and killing it while the other people escaped. In an interview that Joe Johnston gave a long while back, the director had this to say about JP3's mysterious production. "We never did have a final script. We did not have a final script until after we wrapped the movie. We shot pages that eventually went into the final script, but we didn't have a document. The joke on the set was that it was going to be the wrap gift. Everybody got a script. We had a script for the day we were shooting, and maybe the next day, and sometimes a week ahead of time. But we never had a story that had a beginning, middle, and end while we were making the film. We had to go back to Hawaii to shoot the ending because when we were there the first time, we didn't know what the ending was going to be." I've been searching everywhere for these scripts for quite a few years now. When it comes to the film series, the production of Jurassic Park 3 is the one that fascinates me the most, and it's the one that I find myself constantly interested in. Movies are expensive projects that involve hundreds of people and are created over the course of several years. Tons of different ideas are born and stories told way before the cameras ever start to roll. Whatever the plans may have been behind the scenes, I would absolutely love to get to see them someday. More so than any other Jurassic movie. And yeah, I mean even more than The Lost World. Now, I'd love to hear what all of you guys think about this information. Which idea do you personally find more interesting? Jurassic Park Extinction or Jurassic Park Breakout? And also, what's your favorite scene in the final version of Jurassic Park 3? For me, it definitely has to be the birdcage sequence. That's one of the greatest moments in the entire franchise in my personal opinion. JP3 might not be my favorite film in the franchise, but over these last few years, the film has grown on me, and I do think that it has its fair share of merits at the end of the day. And no matter what happens to be in those earlier scripts, the mystery surrounding this movie just fascinates me. But hey, whatever your own thoughts and opinions happen to be, I'd love to hear them in the comments down below. Now before I go, I'd like to thank all of my game wardens, as well as all of my InGen executives. I'd also like to thank all of my park workers and InGen hunters as well. It really means the world to me that all of you continue to watch my videos, and I never want any of you to forget that. Now, I'd like to thank all of you for watching today's video, and hope you all enjoyed the content. If you feel like I deserve it, I'd appreciate the like, and hope that you'll consider subscribing if you're interested in hearing from me again. See you all in the next video, guys. And as always, take it easy.